Close your eyes. Let the day go. Not piece by piece. All at once. The whole weight of it. Every conversation that didn't go the way you hoped. Every task that didn't get finished. Every version of tomorrow you've been quietly rehearsing without realizing it. Just let it go. You don't need any of it right now. What you need right now is exactly what you're doing. Being still. Being here. Letting the night do what the night was made to do. There's a story I want to tell you. It happened on a lake. A real lake. The Sea of Galilee. In the kind of evening that makes you understand why people in that part of the world spent their whole lives near water. The air off the lake in the evening was different from the air during the day. Cooler. Slower. It carried the smell of water and reeds and something green and alive. Jesus was tired. That's the first thing worth knowing. He had been teaching all day, from morning until the light changed, until the crowd that had gathered along the shore had slowly, reluctantly begun to drift home. Hours of this. Hours of people bringing their questions, their hurts, their arguments, their needs, pressing in close, calling out from the back, waiting for their moment. He gave it all. He always did. But tiredness is not weakness. It is evidence of having given something real. And by the time evening arrived, and the last of the crowd had gone, and the shoreline had grown quiet, Jesus was the kind of tired that only comes from spending yourself fully on something that mattered. You probably know that feeling. The good tired. The kind that settles into your bones not with anxiety, but with something almost like satisfaction. Like you used the day for something. Even if the day also used you. That was the evening it happened. The evening of the storm. But we'll get there. For now, just the evening. Just the light going gold on the water. Just the sound of the waves, which hadn't changed in 1,000 years, and wouldn't change for 1,000 more. Just Jesus, tired in the way that good people get tired, stepping down to the shore, where a boat was waiting. Stay here with me for a while. Let your breathing find its pace. In and out. The evening is beginning. The water is calm. And there is nowhere you need to be tonight except here. In this story. In this quiet. In the gentle dark. That is holding you right now. As surely as the water held that boat. The Sea of Galilee is not an ocean. This matters for the story. And for tonight. It's a lake. Really. about 13 miles long, 8 miles wide, surrounded by hills on almost every side, which gives it a particular quality. During the day, you can see across it. You can see the far shore. You can see the hills beyond. Nothing about it suggests the infinite vastness of the open sea. It feels contained, known, the kind of water that fishermen learn young and carry with them their whole lives. Not something to be feared so much as understood. Peter knew this lake. So did his brother Andrew. So did James and John, the sons of Zebedee, who had been fishing these waters since they were old enough to handle a net. They knew its moods, its morning stillness, its afternoon winds. The way the light moved across it was differently in summer and winter. The particular color it turned before a storm. They thought they knew everything about it. That's often when a lake, or a season, or a life decides to show you something new. The disciples had spent the day close to Jesus, watching him teach. They were used to crowds by now. In the early days, the attention had felt almost intoxicating. This teacher they had left everything to follow, drawing hundreds of people to the shoreline. The words he spoke, landing with a weight that ordinary words didn't carry. But the crowds were also exhausting. The need in them, the hunger, the ones who pushed too close, the ones who argued, the ones who left disappointed because he hadn't given them what they wanted. By evening, the disciples were ready to be on the water. Water has a way of resetting things. Once the boat pushed off from shore, the noise of the day fell away quickly. The voices, the questions, the pressing in. It all receded with the shoreline, becoming smaller, becoming quieter, becoming something. You could look back at it without feeling overwhelmed by it. Several of them picked up oars. The motion was familiar. The pull and release. Pull and release. The slight resistance of the water. And then the glide. Fishermen don't think about rowing the way a person does when they first learn. It becomes the body's language, as natural as walking. The evening stretched ahead of them, quiet, open, full of the particular peace that water offers when it's calm. No one was particularly worried. And why would they be? The lake was still. Jesus was with them. What was there to worry about? Right now, in your bed, in your room, in the dark around you, let that be the question you sit with. Not as a challenge, as an invitation. The lake is still. You are held. What is there to worry about tonight? whatever answer rises, and something probably will, because that's what minds do in the quiet. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to push it away either. Just notice it. Name it quietly. And then set it in the boat with everything else. And let the water carry it. The water can carry it. It's strong enough. And the one who goes with you on the water has never once lost a passenger. Jesus fell asleep. This is one of the most human moments in all of the Gospels, and it deserves to be felt rather than rushed past. He fell asleep, not into a light doze, not into the half-consciousness of someone keeping one ear open. The Gospel of Mark tells us specifically that he was sleeping on a cushion at the stern of the boat. Deep, genuine, embodied sleep. The kind that comes when you have spent everything you had, and your body finally claims what it's owed. Think about that for a moment. The disciples were awake. The night was clear. The water was calm. The boat moved steadily. And Jesus, the one they'd spent the day watching heal the sick, answer the critics, speak words that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than ordinary thought, was asleep, like a child, like someone who had done his work and trusted the night. There is something worth carrying into your own sleep from that image. Jesus didn't stay awake to supervise the crossing. He didn't keep one eye open to monitor the disciples rowing. He didn't lie there reviewing the day's teaching, wondering if he'd said the right things, preparing what he'd say tomorrow. He trusted. He released the night to the night. He closed his eyes and was gone. And in being gone, in that complete surrender to rest, he showed the disciples something they didn't recognize as a lesson until much later. That trust and sleep are the same gesture. Both of them say, I am not the one in charge of this. I don't have to hold it together with my vigilance. Something larger than me is holding it, and I can let go. Tonight. Can you make that gesture? Not just the physical lying down, the internal one. The releasing of whatever you've been holding together with the effort of your attention. You don't have to supervise tonight. The night knows its own work. The morning will come without your watching for it. And the one who fell asleep in a boat on the Sea of Galilee, fully human, completely spent, completely at rest, is the same one who is present with you right now. In this room, in this dark. Let his sleep give you permission for yours. Close your eyes the way he closed his. All the way. Without reservation. Into rest. The storm came without announcement. This is the thing about the Sea of Galilee that even experienced fishermen had to respect. The lake sat in a basin, surrounded by those hills, and the hills, particularly to the east, were cut through with deep ravines and gorges. When the right winds came, they funneled down through those channels and hit the water with a speed and force that could change the character of the lake in minutes, not hours. Minutes. One moment, calm. The next, something else entirely. The disciples felt it before they saw it. The way the air changed first. A pressure shift. The quality of the darkness altering. Becoming denser somehow. More deliberate. Then the first real gust. Coming from the east. Low across the water. Strong enough to make the boat heel slightly to one side. Several of them straightened up immediately. Peter and Andrew, men who had grown up on this lake, who had seen every version of it, exchanged a look. Not panic. Not yet. But recognition. This wind had intention behind it. It wasn't going to pass quickly. The oars became harder to manage. What had been a natural, rhythmic motion was now a fight, pulling against a current that was growing stronger by the minute, trying to keep the bow aimed true, while the boat was being pushed sideways by a wind that had no interest in their plans. Then the waves. The Sea of Galilee can generate waves faster than most people expect. What begins as a surface chop can build into something that crashes over the sides of a fishing vessel and soaks everything inside within minutes. The waves came now, one after another. Not the gentle rolling of an hour ago, but steep, choppy, aggressive. The kind that don't give you time to recover between them. Water began coming into the boat. Not a trickle. A surge with each wave. Pouring over the gunwale. Splashing across the deck. Collecting at their feet. And at the stern. Still asleep. Jesus. The disciples had been managing this themselves. They were capable men. Experienced men. They weren't the kind to panic at the first sign of rough water. But this was past rough water now. This was the kind of storm that made even experienced fishermen think about outcomes they didn't like to think about. Someone reached Jesus, shook him, or perhaps grabbed his arm. The gospel isn't precise about this moment, only about the words they used when he woke. Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown? That question. Don't you care? Have you ever asked it? Maybe not in those words. Maybe not standing in the back of a boat with water at your feet and wind in your face. But in the dark of some other night. In some other version of the storm. When something was wrong and getting worse. And the thing you most needed didn't seem to be arriving. Don't you care? It's the most honest prayer most of us ever pray. More honest than the polished ones. More honest than the ones that use the right language and wrap the request in appropriate humility. Don't you care that I'm drowning here? Jesus heard it. He always hears it. And he got up. He stood up in the boat. Picture this. A fishing vessel in the middle of a storm. Pitching and rolling. Water in the bottom. Waves breaking over the sides. The kind of conditions where experienced sailors crouch low and hold on. And Jesus stood up. He didn't brace himself against the mast. He didn't widen his stance and grip the nearest rope. He simply stood the way you stand in a room that is perfectly still. The way you stand when the ground beneath you is entirely trustworthy. As if the storm hadn't gotten the information that it was supposed to be frightening. He looked at the wind. He looked at the water. And he spoke. 2 words in the original language. Words that don't require translation to feel. Peace. Be still. Not a request. Not a prayer to something above him. A command. Spoken the way you would speak to something that was capable of obeying you. The way you'd speak to a dog that was barking. The way a parent speaks to a child who has gotten out of hand. Peace. Be still. And the wind stopped. Not gradually. Not winding down over several minutes the way storms usually do. It stopped. The way a sound stops when you turn off the source. One moment it was there. Roaring. Relentless. Filling every part of the world. And then it wasn't. The waves subsided. The boat stopped pitching. The water in the bottom sloshed back and forth a few times, and then settled. And there was a great calm. A great calm. That phrase, a great calm, is one of the most beautiful in the whole gospel. Not just calm. Great calm. The kind of stillness that follows a storm and is somehow deeper than ordinary stillness, as though the silence is aware of what just happened, as though the water remembers. Feel that great calm right now, in your body, in the room around you, in the night that is holding this moment. The storm that came for you today, the worry, the noise, the pressure, the difficult thing. It doesn't have the final word tonight. The same voice that spoke to the Sea of Galilee speaks over you now. Peace. Be still. Let that reach you. Not as a demand, as an invitation. Peace is available right here, right now, in this breath, in this dark, in this held, quiet moment. Be still and know. After the storm, the disciples were quiet. This is interesting. You might expect relief, laughter, someone clapping someone else on the shoulder, the release of tension that comes when danger has passed. And perhaps some of that happened. But the gospel tells us something else first. They were afraid, not storm afraid. Storm afraid is one thing, the body responding to real physical danger. Adrenaline doing its job, every nerve alert. This was different. They said to each other, and you can almost hear the quiet, wondering quality of their voices. Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him. Who is this? They had been with him for months by this point. They had watched him heal people. They had heard him teach in ways that left crowds astonished. They had seen things that didn't fit into the categories they've grown up with. But this, standing in a boat on a storm-tossed lake, and speaking to the weather, and the weather listening, this reordered something inside them. Not their theology exactly, not their understanding of Scripture, though all of that would come later. Something more immediate than theology, something in the gut, the bone-deep recognition that they were in the presence of something, someone, that was larger than the categories they'd been using. The categories were too small. And sometimes that is exactly the crisis a person needs. Not the storm itself, but what the storm reveals about who is in the boat with them. Tonight, whatever storm you've been in, whatever version of the dark water, and the rising waves your life has offered this season, let it reveal something. Not just that the storm is real, that who is in the boat with you is realer, that the one who speaks peace into weather speaks it into the weather of your life as well, that the great calm is available, not after the storm ends, in the middle of it, before the waves subside. Peace. Be still. Breathe it in. Let it go down into the places that have been afraid. The water is calming. The boat is steady. And who is in the boat with you has never lost one. Let's stay on the water for a while longer. Not in the storm. After it. The great calm. The disciples sitting in that boat in the aftermath of something they didn't have words for yet. The water smooth and dark around them. The stars reappearing as the clouds pulled back. One by one. Exactly the way they always appear on a clearing night. As though the sky is cautiously returning to itself. Nobody spoke for a while. There are moments in life that language can't quite catch, that require a period of silence first. A space for what just happened to settle into its proper place before anyone tries to name it. The disciples were in one of those moments. Jesus was with them in the quiet, not explaining, not debriefing the event, just present, the same way he'd been present during the storm, not panicked, not managing, not trying to make it okay with words, just there. This is something worth sitting with tonight. His presence doesn't always come with commentary. It doesn't always announce itself with feeling, or with the particular sense of warmth or peace that we sometimes expect presence to bring. Sometimes it is simply there, quiet, real, unchanged by the storm it just walked through. If you are in a season right now where God feels quiet, where the presence feels more theoretical than felt, the boat on the calm sea after the storm might be for you. He is there, in the quiet after the thing, in the stillness that follows the worst of it, in the exhausted, wondering silence where you're not sure what just happened, but you know you came through. He is there, not gone, not absent, not distracted by something else. There, the same way he was there in the storm even when he was asleep. The same way the stars are there during the day even when you can't see them. Simply there. And tonight, he is here, in this room, in this darkness, as close as the air you're breathing, as present as the pillow beneath your head. Simply here. Let that be enough for tonight. You don't have to feel it perfectly to receive it fully. Rest in the presence, even the quiet kind, especially the quiet kind. I want to tell you something about Peter. Not from the storm story exactly. From another night. Another body of water. Another moment where the water beneath him became something he had to reckon with. You may know this story too. After the resurrection, some of the disciples had gone back to fishing. Not because they'd given up on everything, but because fishermen go to the water the way other people go to the place that feels most like themselves. When everything else is uncertain, they'd been out all night, caught nothing. That particular exhausted frustration of work that produces nothing despite full effort. The pre-dawn hour, when the darkness is its deepest, and the night has gone on long enough that morning feels both inevitable and impossibly far away. And from the shore, a voice. Have you caught anything? No. Cast your net on the right side. They did. And the catch was so large they couldn't haul it in. John recognized him first. He always did. In the Gospels, something in John was tuned to recognition. He leaned toward Peter and said quietly, "It is the Lord." And Peter, impulsive, impossible Peter, who had denied Jesus 3 times in a courtyard not many weeks before. Peter grabbed his outer garment, jumped into the water, and swam 100 yards to shore. He didn't wait for the boat. He didn't think it through. He just went. There's something in that image. Peter in the water, swimming toward shore, toward the fire that was already burning on the beach, toward the figure standing in the early morning light, that I find almost unbearably moving. Here is a man who had failed completely, who had done the thing he swore he'd never do, who had looked Jesus in the face in a firelit courtyard and said, 3 times, with increasing desperation, I don't know him. And yet, when recognition came, when John said those 4 words, Peter didn't hesitate, didn't stop to calculate whether he deserved to approach, didn't prepare a speech or rehearse an apology. He just went, because whatever he'd done, there was something in him that knew, at the level below thought, below calculation, below the careful management of shame, that the one on the shore wanted him there. If you are carrying something tonight, some version of the courtyard, some failure, or falling short that has made you wonder whether you've forfeited your place in the story, hear this. The fire is already burning. He is already on the shore. And when you recognize him, in the quiet, in the night, in whatever small moment of recognition this is for you, you don't have to prepare yourself first. You can just go. He is waiting. He has always been waiting. Jump in and swim. The lake at night. Come back to it. The way we came back to Noah's Ark. The way we returned to the green pastures of Psalm 23. Because sleep stories need somewhere to return to. Somewhere the mind can find again when the thoughts start circling. The Sea of Galilee after the storm. The water is completely calm now. The kind of calm that feels almost surreal after what came before. The surface is black and smooth, and it holds the reflection of the stars so perfectly that it's difficult, looking at it, to find where the water ends and the sky begins. The boat sits in the middle of this, rocking very slightly. That small, constant motion that a boat on still water has. Not from wind or wave, but from the water's own subtle breathing. The way the lake shifts its weight slowly, continuously. The way something alive shifts its weight in sleep. The wooden hull creaks occasionally. A low, satisfied sound. Good timber. Holding. Inside the boat. The disciples. Some asleep by now. Their cloaks pulled around them. The events of the evening still vivid enough. That sleep came first as a kind of shock. before settling into genuine rest. Some still awake, quiet, watching the stars, and Jesus, awake again now. The storm had pulled him from sleep. The calm after it had given him back something different from sleep. A kind of wakefulness that was not anxious or restless but simply alert. The way a person is alert when they are completely at peace. And there is something worth watching. He was watching the water, the way it held the stars, the way the reflection moved very slightly, not because the stars moved, but because even perfectly still water has a surface tension, a barely perceptible living quality. The stars in the water were like the stars in the sky, but softer, more forgiving, less precise. He found that beautiful. He found most things beautiful. If you read the Gospels with that in mind, the lilies of the field, a woman sweeping her house to find a lost coin, a father running down a road, sparrows, seeds, the ordinary things that most people walked past without a second look. He watched them. He paid attention. And in paying attention, in that particular quality of slow, unhurried noticing, there was something that looked a great deal like joy. Right now, in this room, in this dark, what is there to notice? Not dramatically, not anything that requires effort. The weight of the blanket, the specific warmth of it, the sound of your own breathing, which has been with you every moment of your life, and which you almost never actually listen to. The particular quality of the darkness, not flat, not uniform, but layered, with the slightly different dark of the ceiling, and the different dark of the walls, and the dark behind your own closed eyes, which has its own texture. These are small things. He would have noticed them, and in the noticing, the mind slows, the circling stops. There is only this, only here, only now, the boat on the water, the stars above and below, and the quiet that has no end. Something about storms, not just the one on Galilee, storms in general, the ones that show up in life wearing different faces, the storm of health news that changes everything in a single conversation, the storm of a relationship fracturing despite every effort to hold it, the storm of financial pressure that builds slowly and then arrives all at once, the storm of grief, which is its own weather system entirely, arriving in waves, sometimes gentle and sometimes overwhelming, never quite on the schedule you expect. The storm of simply not knowing, of the future being opaque, and the present being unsettled. and the past being something you're still making sense of. These are real storms. And the question the disciples asked in the middle of theirs is the question most of us ask in the middle of ours. Don't you care? Don't you see what's happening here? Don't you know how bad this is? Are you asleep in the back of the boat while everything falls apart? And here is what I want to offer you. From the story, and from the long record of people who have asked that question, and found their way to the other side of it. He was not absent. He was not indifferent. He was not unaware of the storm. He was asleep, and his sleeping was not negligence. It was the truest possible demonstration of trust. He could sleep in the storm because he knew the storm was not the final word. He could sleep because the outcome was not in doubt. He could sleep because being afraid of what the storm might do was simply not, for him, a possibility. He was asleep because he was at peace. And he woke the moment they called and spoke, and the storm obeyed. Tonight, if there is something in your life that feels like the storm at its worst, if you are in the part of the story where the water is in the boat, and the waves are breaking over the sides, and what you most need doesn't seem to be arriving, call out, not with polished language, not with the right words, just, are you there? Do you see this? He wakes. He always wakes when you call. And what he speaks into the storm of your life is the same thing he spoke into the storm on Galilee. Peace. Be still. Not because the difficult thing is simple, because he is greater than the difficult thing. And he is in the boat with you. He has always been in the boat with you. Let that reach you tonight. Past the tiredness, past the worry, past the part of you that is still managing and monitoring and trying to hold things together. He is in the boat. He is awake. And the storm does not have a final word. There is a particular kind of peace that only exists after a storm. Meteorologists will tell you that the air after a significant storm is different from ordinary air. The barometric pressure has changed. The atmosphere has been scrubbed by the rain. The particles that make the air hazy and heavy during normal days have been washed down, and what's left is cleaner, clearer, carrying light differently. Everything looks sharper after a storm. Colors are more vivid. The sky is a more particular blue. The green of growing things is almost startling in its depth. And the quiet. The quiet is a different quality of quiet than the quiet that comes from nothing having happened. It's the quiet that knows what came before it. The quiet that has context. The quiet that is not simply the absence of noise but the presence of something that followed the noise. The disciples were in that quiet. the great calm. Everything they were seeing, the stars, the water, the face of the man who had spoken the storm into silence. They were seeing it with eyes that had just been through something. Eyes that knew what the storm looked like. Eyes that had context. And what they were seeing now, with those eyes, was extraordinary. The ordinary made extraordinary by contrast. Stars that were the same stars as always, but now more stars than they'd ever seen. Water that was the same water as always, but now more calm than they'd ever known it. And Jesus, who was the same Jesus as always, but now somehow more than their categories had allowed, more than the word teacher had contained, more than what they thought they were signing up for when they left their boats and their nets and their ordinary lives to follow him. So much more. And they sat with that, in the great calm, in the quiet that knew what it had come from, not trying to make sense of it yet, just holding it. Sometimes that is the most faithful thing you can do. Not understand, not explain, not fit it into the existing framework. Just hold it. The great calm after a great storm. And let it be more than you know how to name. Right now, in the quiet around you, let what is here be more than you know how to name. The presence that is real even when it's quiet. The faithfulness that is operating even when it's invisible. The love that has never once stopped. Through every storm and every ordinary day. And every moment of the in-between. Let it be held. Without naming it perfectly. Without needing to. Just held. In the great calm, in the dark, in this moment, which is and has always been enough. Your body is very heavy now, not the heavy of burden, the heavy of release, the specific weight that settles into your limbs when the body finally stops bracing. When the vigilance your nervous system has been maintaining all day, monitoring, assessing, staying ready, finally eases, when the muscles that hold tension, without being asked to stop holding it, because there is nothing left to hold against, that heaviness. It's happening right now. In your shoulders. In the long muscles of your back. In your jaw. That place where so many people carry so much without realizing it. In your hands, which have probably been slightly curled, slightly ready, even as you lie here. Let them open. Let the hands go flat. Let the fingers relax until they find their own shape. Not a fist. Not a conscious openness. Just the hand at rest. The hand that isn't holding anything. The disciples' hands must have been like that in the great calm. Hands that had been gripping ropes, pulling oars, bailing water, hands that had been working hard against a storm that kept coming. Finally able to rest, open, released, no longer fighting something that no longer needed fighting. Let your hands be like that, and your arms. Let them be heavy on the bed. Your legs, heavy, warm, going nowhere. Your whole body sinking a little more into what's beneath you with every breath. In and out. The storm has passed. The water is still. Jesus is in the boat. And your body can stop bracing now. It's safe. It has always been safe. And tonight, it can rest completely, all the way down into the great calm. Let me tell you about the other side of the lake. Because the storm wasn't the destination. The boat wasn't where they were meant to stay. Jesus had said, before they pushed off from shore, let us go to the other side. Not let us go out on the water. Not let us see what happens. Let us go to the other side. The other side was always the plan. The storm came between the departure and the arrival. It always does. In Galilee and in life. The crossing is rarely as clean as the leaving and arriving. There is almost always something in the middle. Something that tests whether you still believe in the destination when the water gets rough. But the destination was real. The other side existed. And the fact that a storm arose between here and there didn't change the intention of the one who said, let us go. He said, let us go to the other side. Not let us go to the middle of the lake and drown. The other side. Think about what you are in the middle of right now. What crossing you are on. What the storm has looked like in your particular version of this story. And hear this. Gently. Without pressure. Without demanding that you feel it before you're ready. The other side exists. Whatever you are in the middle of is not the end of the story. The storm is not the destination. The crossing has a completion. The water has a far shore. Jesus said, let us go to the other side. He does not begin crossings that have no arrival. He does not lead people into water and leave them there. The other side is real, and you are moving toward it. Even tonight, even in the sleeping, even in the not knowing how far, you are moving toward it. And the one who spoke peace into the storm is the same one who said, let us go. He meant it then. He means it now. The other side is coming. Rest in that tonight. Let the boat carry you. Let the water hold the boat, and let the one who knows the way navigate. You don't have to know the route. You only have to be in the boat. And you are. You have always been. There is a quality to the middle of the night that is unlike any other hour. The disciples on the water, after the storm, in the great calm, would have known this hour. That particular watch of the night when the world has fully settled. When the shore is dark in both directions. When the stars are at their most vivid because the night is at its deepest. No one is awake on shore. No fires visible. No voices carrying across the water. Just the boat, the stars, the water, and the sound of the oars. If someone was still rowing, a slow, rhythmic sound, not urgent, the kind of rowing that isn't racing toward anything, just moving steadily through the dark. These are the hours the mystics wrote about, the deep watch of the night, when the soul, freed from the noise of the day, can sometimes hear things it can't hear in the light. When the things that seemed enormous in the afternoon reveal themselves as smaller. When the things that seemed small reveal themselves as enormous. When the presence that is always there becomes, in the stillness, almost perceptible. Like the water in the dark that you can hear but can barely see. Like the wind that you feel before you can identify its direction. Like the particular quality of not being alone. That settles over you in the quiet. If you stop filling the quiet with noise, in these hours, if you are awake, hovering at the edge of sleep, going in and out with the tide, let the deep watch be gentle. This is not an empty hour. This is a full one, full of the presence that doesn't need daylight to be real, full of the peace that doesn't require resolution to be available, full of the same calm that settled over Galilee when the storm was done. You are in the deep watch of the night, and you are not alone in it. You have never been alone in it, even when it felt like you were. Especially then, the disciples would have arrived at the other side, sometime in the night, or perhaps early morning. The Gospel doesn't specify the hour, only that they crossed, and that they arrived. The storm was behind them. The calm was around them. The far shore, which had been invisible in the dark, gradually resolved as they approached it. The darkness of the water, giving way to the darker mass of land. The sound of the keel touching the bottom as they moved into the shallows. Land, solid, unmoving. The relief of something that didn't shift beneath your feet. They pulled the boat up onto the shore, wet clothes drying in the night air. Exhausted, the good kind of exhausted, the kind that comes after intensity, after something was asked and given and survived. And Jesus was with them, not ahead of them on the shore, already moving toward the next thing, with them, in the boat still, perhaps, or standing at the water's edge while the others tied up, present at the arrival the way he had been present in the storm. The crossing was complete. The other side was real. Think about the crossings in your own life that are complete. The ones that are behind you now, that you survived, that brought you to a shore you couldn't see when you were in the middle of the water. The storms that ended, the difficult seasons that turned, the things that felt impossible that you somehow came through. They are evidence, not just that you are resilient, though you are, but that the crossing has a completion, that the other side is always real even when it's invisible, that the one who says, "Let us go to the other side," does not abandon the boat in the middle of the water. You have evidence of this in your own story. More evidence than you probably give yourself credit for right now. The crossings that completed, the shores you reached that you couldn't see when you left. Hold that evidence tonight. Let it be what your tired mind rests on instead of the things that feel uncertain. The other side has always been there. It will be there again. You are being carried toward it. Even now, even in the sleeping, let the water carry you now. Not the storm water, the calm water, the water after, the black, mirror still surface of the Sea of Galilee in the deep hours of the night. Let yourself be on it, in the boat, lying down, perhaps, the way Jesus lay down earlier, on a cushion at the stern, the boat rocking very gently beneath you. The motion is slow, barely there, the kind of rocking that doesn't disturb, the kind that reminds something ancient in the body, something that knows, from long before you had words. That rocking means held. That rocking means safe. That rocking means you can stop working and let something else carry you. Let the water carry you. It is calm enough. It has always been calm enough. The storm was real and it passed. And what's left is this, the extraordinary calm. The stars above, reflected below, the boat moving through its own reflection, and Jesus in the boat with you, not asleep now, awake, the way he was awake after the storm. That particular quality of wakefulness that is not restless, or monitoring or bracing for what comes next, but simply alert, simply present, watching the water, watching the stars, and watching you, the way you might watch someone you love when they're sleeping, with the kind of attention that doesn't demand anything, that only offers, that finds what it sees worth watching. He watches you with that kind of attention. Tonight, in this room, in this dark, he is not absent. He is not turned away. He is not occupied with something else. He is watching you with the attention he gave to the lilies of the field, and the sparrows, and the stars in the water. The attention that finds everything worth noticing, finds you worth noticing. Let that be received, without arguing with it, without deciding you don't deserve it. Simply, let it be true. You are seen. You are watched over. You are in the boat with the one who speaks to storms. And the water beneath you is carrying you exactly where you need to go. Rest. Let it carry you. All the way. Peace. Be still. Let those words work on you now. In the quiet of this room. Not as theology. Not as something to understand or explain. As medicine. For whatever is still tense in your body. Peace. Be still. For whatever thought keeps returning. Keeps circling. Keeps trying to be useful. When what you need from your mind right now is rest. Peace. Be still. For the version of tomorrow that keeps inserting itself into tonight. Peace. Be still. For the grief that sits in the chest like weather. For the fear that has no specific shape but fills the room anyway. For the loneliness. For the exhaustion that goes deeper than sleep alone can reach. Peace. Be still. These words were spoken once on a lake. And the lake obeyed. They are being spoken now. Over you. Over this room. Over whatever storm has been raging in the quiet places inside you that no one else has seen. Peace. Be still. Not because the difficult thing is simple. Not because everything is resolved. But because the one who speaks these words has authority over everything the storm can do. And he is speaking them. Right now. Into this room. Into this darkness. Into this life. Into this breath. Peace. Be still. Receive it. Let it move through you the way the calm moved through Galilee. From the surface down. First the waves, then the chop, then the deep current, settling, quieting, going still. Let it move through you like that, from the outside in, from the surface down, into the deep places. Peace. Be still, and know that He is God, and know that you are held, and know that tonight is His, and tomorrow is His, and the storm that came for you, whatever its face, whatever its force, does not have the final word. He does. And His word is peace. Receive it. All the way. Into the deep. Into the still. Into sleep. I want to stay with that word for a moment longer. Peace. In the original language, the Greek of the New Testament, the word is irene, but Jesus almost certainly spoke Aramaic, and the word He would have used on the lake was related to the Hebrew shalom. Shalom. You may know this word. It's often translated simply as peace, but that translation is smaller than the word. Shalom means completeness, wholeness, the state of things being as they are meant to be, nothing missing, nothing broken that hasn't been addressed, nothing out of place. When Jesus spoke to the storm, He wasn't just saying stop making noise. He was speaking wholeness over chaos. He was saying, be what you were made to be. Not violence, not destruction, not the force that swamps boats and drowns people. Be water. Be the thing that holds life and reflects stars, and carries boats gently from one shore to another. Shalom. Be what you were made to be. And perhaps that is what He speaks over you tonight as well. Not just stop the noise in your mind, but be what you were made to be, which is not anxious, not endlessly vigilant, not bracing perpetually against things that may or may not come. You were made for rest, built for it. The need for sleep is not a design flaw. It is evidence of how you were made. Evidence that the one who made you built into your nature the requirement to stop, to release, to be held for a while by something other than your own effort. You were made to rest. Shalom over your body tonight. Be what you were made to be. Shalom over your mind. Be what you were made to be. Shalom over your heart. Be what you were made to be. Whole. Complete. At rest. In the hands of the one who speaks shalom into storms. And means it. And the storms obey. Let your body obey tonight. Let the shalom reach you. All the way down. Into the deep rest. Into the wholeness that sleep, at its best, is a small foretaste of. Into the great calm. The stars on the water. Come back to this image one more time. After the storm, the Sea of Galilee perfectly still. The stars above, reflected below. The boat sitting in the middle of a doubled sky. Above, the stars as they are, fixed, ancient. The same stars that Abraham watched from his tent door. The same stars that David wrote about in the Psalms. The same stars that wise men followed. The same stars that are above you right now. Above the ceiling of this room. above the clouds if there are clouds, burning with the same light they've always burned with. Below, the stars as they appeared in the water, not quite the same, softer, slightly blurred at the edges, moving very gently with the movement of the water's surface. The same light, but received and held and reflected differently. You are like the water tonight, receiving light that comes from above, holding it in your own way, not perfectly, not with the fixed precision of the original, but genuinely, really. The light is real in you even when it's softened by the medium through which it moves. The light of the one who spoke peace into storms. It is in you. It has been in you. It has been reflected through you in ways you've mostly not noticed. In the small kindnesses, the moments of patience, the care you extend to people who matter to you. The light is real. And tonight, in the still water of this hour, in the deep calm after whatever storms have come, it can be seen, not dramatically, gently, the way stars are seen in still water, when everything finally stops moving long enough to reflect. Let yourself be still enough to reflect. Let the light be held. Let the water rest. Let the stars be what they are, above and below, burning and reflecting, real in the sky and real in you. The boat is still. The water is still. And you can be still. All the way still. All the way down. Into the great calm. Into sleep. Into the rest that restores and rebuilds and returns you to yourself. The light is real. You are held. Sleep now. Let me tell you what happens to the body when it finally lets go. Not in clinical terms. In terms you can feel as I describe them. There is a threshold. You've probably crossed it many times without naming it, where the body shifts from being awake to being asleep. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in stages, and each stage is a kind of letting go. First, the muscles that have been holding your body's weight, subtly, constantly, without being asked, begin to release. This is why your body feels heavier in the minutes before sleep. Not because anything has been added, because something has been released. The effort of holding stops, and what's left is just weight. Pure, uncomplicated, resting weight. Feel that in your body right now. The places you've been holding, the shoulders, the back, the jaw, the hands. Let the holding stop, not by forcing a release, but by noticing that the holding is happening and simply not continuing it. Let the weight be what it is. heavy, warm, belonging to the bed. Then, the mind. The mind doesn't stop all at once either. It slows. The thoughts that were arriving in rapid sequence begin to space out. The gaps between them grow longer. And in those gaps, a quality of quiet that is different from the quiet when you're awake and thinking about nothing, deeper, less self-aware. The gaps are the doorway. You don't have to push through them. You don't have to notice them too carefully, because noticing them too carefully wakes you back up. Simply let them be what they are. Long, quiet, undemanding. The gaps are the water. Let yourself float in them. Then, something else. A loosening of the sense of where you are. The room becomes less precisely located. The edges of things soften. The boundary between yourself and the quiet becomes less defined. This is the threshold. You are right at it. The disciples crossing the lake in the small hours. They were at a threshold too. The far shore not yet visible. The storm behind them. The water beneath them calm and dark and carrying them between one thing and the next. In the middle of the crossing, being carried. Let yourself be carried now into the threshold, through it, into whatever is on the other side, which is rest, deep, genuine, restoring rest, the kind that the body was designed for, the kind that Jesus modeled in the stern of the boat, completely surrendered, completely at peace, completely trusting. That rest, yours, right now. Let it come. There is something I want to offer you for the hard nights. Not tonight specifically. Tonight you are very nearly asleep, and the peace is already here. But for the nights when it's harder, when the storm feels closer, when the water is in the boat, and the waves keep coming, and the great calm feels very far away. For those nights, remember this. He woke when they called. That's the whole thing. Really. Underneath all the drama of the storm, and the miracle of the calming, that is the center of it. They called, and he woke. Not after they'd proven themselves worthy of interrupting him. Not after they'd exhausted every other option. Not after the storm had passed on its own, and they needed him for something more manageable. In the middle of it, at the worst of it, when the water was in the boat, and they were genuinely afraid. Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown? And he woke. He always wakes when you call. This is not metaphor. This is not a pleasant idea for reassurance. This is the testimony of people across thousands of years. Ordinary people in real storms, calling out with real desperation, and finding that the one they called to was not deaf, and was not absent, and was not indifferent. He woke. He got up. He spoke. And the storm obeyed. So on the hard nights, and they will come, because that is the nature of crossing. Call out. It doesn't have to be elegant. Don't you care? Is enough. Are you there? Is enough. I need you is enough. He hears it all. He wakes to all of it. And what he speaks into your storm is the same thing he spoke into theirs. Peace. Be still. Not someday. Now. Not after you've earned it. Now. Not when the storm has already passed. Now. In the middle of it. Before the waves subside. Now. Peace. Be still. On the hard nights. Remember this. And call. He will wake. He always does. The water again. The dark. Still. Beautiful water after the storm. I want you to rest here for a while. Just here. In this image. In this calm. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything with what you've heard tonight. You don't have to make decisions, or form intentions or commit to anything before you sleep. You only have to be here, in the boat, on the still water, under the stars. The boat rocks very slightly. That small, patient motion, back and forth, almost like breathing, back and forth, back and forth. The sound of the water against the hull is gentle, not the crashing of the storm. Something much quieter, a soft, rhythmic sound, like the water is simply making contact with the boat and moving on, over and over, without urgency, without agenda, contact and release, contact and release. This is how the water communicates with the boat. And this is how rest communicates with your body. Contact. A wave of heaviness. A deepening of the breath. A softening somewhere. And release. A thought that loosens. A muscle that lets go. A bit more of the day that falls away. Contact and release. Over and over. Each wave of rest taking you a little further in than the one before. The boat is moving through the dark. Slowly. Steadily. Without your effort. The far shore is there. Even though you can't see it yet. The one who said let us go to the other side is in the boat. and the water is doing its work. Let it. Back and forth. Contact and release. Deeper. And deeper. And deeper still. Into the great calm. Into the still water. Into sleep. Before we reach the final prayer tonight, let me speak to a few people specifically. To the person who came to this video exhausted in a way that is hard to explain. Not just tired from today. Tired from the accumulated weight of many days. Many months. Maybe many years of carrying things that were too heavy. Of giving more than was given back. Of holding it together for everyone around them while privately wondering if they had anything left. To you, the boat is a safe place to be exhausted. You don't have to perform strength here. You don't have to hold it together. You can be exactly as tired as you are. And the boat will still hold. The water will still carry. The one in the stern is not asleep anymore. He is awake and watching, and fully aware of what this crossing has cost you. He sees the cost. He is not asking you to pretend it isn't real. Rest. Deeply. Completely. Without guilt. The boat holds tired people just as well as it holds the rested ones. You are allowed to be here exactly as you are. To the person who is afraid tonight, not of anything dramatic, just afraid. The low level, persistent kind of afraid that lives in the chest. The kind that doesn't always have a specific object. The kind that simply arrived one day and set up residence. To you, the storm on Galilee was real, and it was addressed. Your fear is real too, and it is seen. The one who spoke peace into wind and wave sees the shape of what frightens you, even the parts that have no name, even the formless parts. And what he speaks over them is the same thing he spoke over the storm. Peace. Be still. Not because you are not afraid, because he is larger than what frightens you. Let his largeness be the thing you rest on tonight instead of the fear. To the person who is grieving, grief has its own weather. It doesn't follow the rules of ordinary emotion. It arrives at unexpected hours. It can be quiet for days and then overwhelming in a single moment. It can sit beside joy without either canceling the other. Grief is real, and it is honored here. And the one who wept at Lazarus's tomb, who stood at a grave and cried real tears before he did the thing that only he could do, that one is not distant from your grief. He is in it with you. He has always been in it with you. And the crossing you are on, though it is different from the ones you've been on before, has a far shore. The other side is real. Rest in that tonight. And to everyone else, whatever brought you here, Whatever tonight looks like from the inside, welcome. The boat is large enough. The water is calm enough. And the one who keeps watch is more than enough. Rest now. All of you. The storm has passed. The great calm is here. And the other side is coming. A prayer for tonight. Lord Jesus, you who stood in a boat on a stormy sea and spoke 2 words that the storm obeyed, speak those words tonight into this room, into this dark, into whatever is still unsettled in the person lying here. Peace. Be still. Not as a command that shuts down real feelings or real difficulties, but as the reality that is truer than the storm, the calm that is deeper than the chaos, the peace that, as Paul wrote, passes understanding, not because it makes no sense, but because it is larger than sense, larger than the sum of circumstances, larger than everything the storm can do. That peace, tonight, here. Lord, be the one in the boat. For the person who is exhausted, be their rest. For the person who is afraid, be their calm. For the person who is grieving, be their presence in the tomb, and their word at the entrance. For the person who has been calling out into what felt like an empty sky, wake, as you always wake, as you always have, and speak, and let the storm hear your voice, and let the waves hear your voice, and let the wind hear your voice, and let the tired, afraid, grieving, hoping, barely holding on person lying in this dark hear your voice. Peace. Be still, and I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The Lord is my shepherd, and tonight you are in the boat, and the water is calm, and the other side is real, and goodness and mercy are following all the days, even this one, even tomorrow, even the days after that, all the way home. Thank you for the storm that showed us who you are. Thank you for the calm that came after. Thank you for being the kind of God who gets in the boat, who crosses with us, who doesn't sleep through the arrival, who is there at the beginning and the middle and the far shore, who speaks peace into whatever we are in the middle of, and means it, and the storm obeys. Sleep now. Let the prayer settle over you like the calm settled over Galilee. From the outside in, from the surface down, into the deep places. The storm is behind you tonight. The great calm is here. Jesus is in the boat. The water is carrying you. The other side is real and you are moving toward it. Steadily, without needing to steer. Let the water carry you. Let the night hold you. Let the rest come. All the way in. All the way down. The way it comes when the storm has passed. And the body finally believes it's safe. It's safe. You are safe. In the boat. On the water. Under the stars. With the one who speaks to storms. Whose word is peace. Whose presence is enough. Whose faithfulness has never once, not in all of history, not in your personal history, failed. Sleep deeply, peacefully, the way Jesus slept in the stern, completely, trustingly, without reservation. The way someone sleeps who knows that the night is held, that the morning is coming, that the other side is real. Sleep and wake when morning comes to a new day that has already been prepared for you, a day in which goodness and mercy will follow you. A day in which the one who calmed the storm will walk beside you. A day that is new and good and yours. But that's morning. This is now. And now is the easiest thing. Now only asks you to rest. So rest. All the way. Peace. Be still. Good night, dear friend. Good night. The water is calm, and you are held. Come back to the evening before the storm. Before any of it happened. Before the wind changed. And the waves built, and the water came over the sides. Just the evening. Jesus finishing his teaching. The crowd beginning to thin. The light going gold along the shoreline. The particular exhale that happens when a long day of giving begins to release its grip. He had been teaching in parables that day. Stories about seeds, about soil, about the way a thing planted in the right ground grows slowly, invisibly, until one day it is larger than anyone expected. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, the smallest of seeds, planted in a field, that grows into a tree large enough for birds to nest in its branches. He had said that. And then the day ended, and the teaching was done, and the crowd went home, and the quiet came back to the shoreline. Imagine that quiet. The specific quiet of a place where many people were, and now aren't, where voices filled the air, and now the air is returning to itself. The water sounds louder in the absence of the crowd. The birds that had moved away come back. The insects begin their evening sounds. The world returning to its own rhythm after the interruption of human presence. Jesus walked to the water's edge. He may have stood there for a moment, barefoot, probably on the wet sand at the margin where the water came up and pulled back, feeling the give of it beneath his feet, the cold of the water when it reached him, just standing, breathing, being here, not planning the next thing, not reviewing the day's teaching, not measuring whether the crowd had understood or missed the point. Just here, at the water's edge, in the evening light. This is one of the things the Gospels show us. Quietly, between the lines of the events, Jesus resting, Jesus withdrawing, Jesus standing at water's edge in the evening, being present in his own body in his own moment, without needing it to be anything other than what it was. He knew how to be here. He practiced it. And perhaps that is part of what made him able to sleep in the storm. Not just his nature, but his practice. The daily returning to the present moment. The daily willingness to be where he was without being somewhere else in his mind. The daily rootedness in what was actually happening rather than in the version of events he was anticipating or reviewing. He was here. And because he was practiced at being here, he could be here even in the middle of the chaos, could sleep even in the storm, could speak peace even when the waves were breaking over the side. Presence was not a technique for him. It was how he lived. And tonight, in this bed, in this dark, in this breath, you can practice the same thing. Not thinking about the sleep you're trying to get. Not watching yourself try to fall asleep. Not anywhere other than here. Just here. The weight of the blanket. The sound of your own breathing. The particular quality of this darkness. Here. And here. And here again. Each moment its own complete thing. Each breath arriving and departing without asking permission. Here. Just here. The water is calm. And you are at the edge of it. And the evening light is gold. And there is nowhere else to be. The disciples in the boat, before the storm, were probably talking, not about anything important. The kind of talking that happens when people who know each other well are together in a familiar place doing a familiar thing. Fragments of conversation. Someone making an observation about the light. Someone else responding. Long silences that weren't uncomfortable. Because they knew each other well enough that silence needed no filling. Peter was probably at the oars. He was that kind of man. More comfortable when his hands were doing something. When the body was occupied. And the mind could move freely without becoming tangled in itself. John may have been watching ashore. He had that quality. A quality of attention that was quieter than Peter's. More inward. more given to watching things carefully and holding what he saw. Andrew and James somewhere in the middle of the boat. Maybe less vivid in the gospel accounts, but no less present, no less real. And Jesus, already settling into the stern, finding the cushion, the way a person settles when they know exactly how tired they are and are not fighting it. The deliberate arranging of limbs and weight that says, I am going to sleep now, genuinely, all the way. The disciples probably glanced at each other, maybe smiled. He was asleep before they'd gone a quarter of the way across. They let him sleep. Of course they did. They had seen what the day had cost him, had watched him give and give and give. The attention, the teaching, the healing, the presence that he extended to every person who reached for it. They knew that kind of giving leaves you empty in a way that only sleep can refill. So they rode and let him sleep. And the evening was quiet, and the water was calm. And for a while, just for a while, everything was exactly as it should be. Hold that moment tonight. The moment before the storm. The evening on the calm water. The good tired. The quiet. The friends who let you rest. Hold it not as something lost, but as something that is always available. Because the quality of that moment, the peace of it, the permission of it, is not dependent on the circumstances being the same. It is dependent on the same one who slept through it. Who is here? Who is the peace? Not just a person who offers it. Who says, not to the storm alone, but to you, tonight, in this room. Peace. Be still. And means it. And the waves obey. And the wind obeys. And your body, slowly, gradually, all the way down, obeys. Peace. Be still. You can sleep now, like Jesus slept, like someone who has done their work and trusts the night, all the way into the great calm. There is a story within the story that I haven't told you yet. It comes just after the storm, after the great calm. After the disciples are sitting in the boat in the extraordinary quiet, asking each other, who is this? They arrive at the other side, and what meets them there is another kind of storm entirely. A man living among the tombs, isolated, tormented by something that the gospel calls many demons, something that had taken up residence inside him and made ordinary life impossible. He had been driven out of the town, lived alone in the burial caves, couldn't be restrained, The chains they'd tried to hold him with had been broken. Night and day he cried out, alone among the dead. When he saw Jesus from a distance, before Jesus had reached him, he ran toward him, not away, toward. Something in him, beneath all the chaos, recognized what was coming, and Jesus addressed what was tormenting the man, directly, without ceremony, without lengthy preparation. He spoke to it, commanded it, and the man was freed. The people from the nearby town came out when they heard about it. And the gospel says something that has always struck me as one of the most quietly devastating lines in the whole account. They found the man sitting, clothed, in his right mind, and they were afraid. They asked Jesus to leave. This is the part of the story that doesn't resolve neatly. The other side of the lake turned out to be more complicated than anyone expected. The miracle was real, but the welcome wasn't what you might hope for. And Jesus, who had come all this way, through the storm, across the water, for this one man, left. Because the town asked him to. He didn't argue, didn't perform another miracle to change their minds, didn't stay where he wasn't wanted. But the man, the one who had been freed, asked to go with him, wanted to get in the boat, to stay close to the one who had given him back his life. And Jesus said, no, go home, to your family. Tell them what God has done for you. Go home. This too is the shape of grace sometimes. Not what we expect. Not the form we would choose. Not the staying that we want, but the sending back to our own homes, to our own people, to the ordinary life that we thought was behind us, but which turns out to be exactly where the story continues. Go home. Tell them what has been done for you tonight. Wherever you are, whatever you've been through, whatever storm is behind you, or still around you, that is also what he says. Go home, which is what sleep is, in a sense, a going home, to the place where the self is restored, where the day's debris is cleared, where the body does its quiet, miraculous work of healing, and integrating and preparing for tomorrow. Go home, into sleep, into rest, into the place where you are put back together while you aren't watching. He will be there when you wake. The story continues in the morning. But for now, go home. Sleep. Rest. You are held. The Sea of Galilee is still there. You could go there today. You could stand on its shore and look out across it. 13 miles of fresh water, surrounded by hills, exactly as it was when the fishermen pushed their boats out into it 2,000 years ago. The water is still water. The hills are still hills. The wind still comes down through the ravines from the east and can still, on the right day, make the surface of the lake change character faster than you'd expect. It's still there, and standing at the edge of it, people do this. Thousands of people. Every year. There is something that comes over you. That is more than the beauty of the place. Though it is beautiful, it is the weight of what happened here. The ordinary water that was also the site of the extraordinary. The lake that was just a lake. And also the place where a man stood in a boat and spoke to the storm, and the storm obeyed. Both things are true. The ordinary and the extraordinary existing in the same place, at the same time. This is how grace tends to work, not separate from ordinary life. Inside it, woven through it, the extraordinary finding its setting in the most ordinary materials. Water, a boat, a cushion, a storm, a few words. Your life is like that lake, ordinary in the way that all lives are ordinary. The daily routines, the recurring problems, the familiar people, the unremarkable mornings, and also the place where extraordinary things happen, have happened, are happening, even now, beneath the surface of what you can see. The same presence that was on Galilee is in your ordinary life, in the ordinary water of it, in the ordinary boat of it, in the ordinary storm of it, and in the peace that follows. The extraordinary is not elsewhere. It is here, in this room, in this night, in this breath, in you. Don't miss it by looking for it somewhere more dramatic. It is here, right here, and it is enough, more than enough. Let it be received, and sleep. The lake is still there, and so is the one who walked on it, and so is the peace. He spoke into it, and so are you, here, held, on your way to the other side. One more time through the story, slower now, the slowest it's been, because you are very close to sleep. And the story in its slowest telling is the best lullaby there is. An evening on a lake, the light going gold. A man who had given everything he had that day, stepping into a boat, the shore receding, the crowd becoming small, then smaller, then gone. Only the water now, only the evening, only the boat moving through the reflection of the sky. Jesus finding the cushion, closing his eyes, the breath slowing, sleep arriving, not reluctantly, not after a fight, but the way sleep arrives for someone who has truly spent themselves and truly trusts the night, completely, peacefully, all the way. The disciples rowing, the water dark and calm beneath them, the first stars appearing, that particular star, always in the same corner of the sky, always a little earlier than you expect. The sound of oars, the sound of water, the sound of the boat creaking gently, the sound of good wood holding, the evening deepening into night, and the crossing underway. One breath, and another, and another. The boat on the water holding the boat, and you, held by the same one. Who was in the boat? Who is in your boat? Who has always been in your boat? Through every storm, and every calm, and every ordinary crossing in between. In your boat, awake, watching, speaking peace when peace is needed, and here now, tonight, simply present, in the quiet after, in the great calm, in the night that is doing its work, breath by breath by breath, into sleep, into rest, into the far shore that is always real even when it's dark, and you can't see it. Let the body tell you what it knows, not the mind. The body. The mind has been busy all day, planning, analyzing, worrying, reviewing. It has done its work. It deserves to rest. But right now, in this moment, before sleep takes you completely, let the body speak first. What does your body know tonight? It knows it is horizontal, that the position of lying down is different from the position of all the effort of the day, that something has changed, that the day is genuinely over. It knows it is warm, the warmth of the bed, of the blanket, of your own warmth that has been building under the covers since you lay down. A specific, contained warmth, the warmth of being sheltered from the night outside. It knows it is held, the mattress beneath you, taking your full weight without complaint, not requiring you to hold yourself up, simply holding you, the way water holds a boat, without effort, without failing. It knows the breath, the slow rhythm that has been working since before you were born, and will go on working until it stops, completely outside your management, completely reliable, in and out, in and out, the body's most basic faithfulness to itself. It knows the heaviness, the good heaviness of muscles that have been used and are releasing, the heaviness that is not burden but rest, the weight of a body that has permission to stop. This is what the body knows. The mind can learn from it tonight, can learn to be horizontal, to stop being upright and alert and ready, can learn to be warm, to stop bracing against the cold of uncertainty, can learn to be held, to stop holding itself up through sheer will, can learn to breathe, to stop managing the breath and let the breath manage itself, can learn the heaviness, the good, released, no longer holding heaviness of something put down. Let the body teach the mind tonight. The body is already resting. The mind can follow into the great calm, into the still water, into the deep and genuine rest that the body was designed for. And the mind is finally, tonight, releasing into, follow the body, all the way down, into sleep. The night is very deep now. You have been here a long time. The story has moved through you like water moves. Not fast, not forcefully, but finding every low place, filling every space that was available to be filled. The evening on the lake, the tired teacher falling asleep, the disciples and their familiar oars, the storm that came without warning, the question that is the most honest prayer most people ever pray. Don't you care? The waking, the standing, the two words that changed everything. Peace, be still, the great calm, the stars in the water, the other side that was always real. These are inside you now, not as information, as something deeper than information, the kind of thing that seeps into the places where you actually live, not the mind's surface, but the ground beneath it. You don't have to do anything with them. They are already doing what they do, working in you the way seeds work in soil, invisibly, slowly, without your management. Rest while they work. This is the invitation of every night, not just to stop, to allow something to continue while you're not watching. The body heals while you sleep. The brain consolidates while you sleep. Something deeper than biology integrates while you sleep. And tonight, with the story of the storm, and the calm, and the one who speaks peace, something is being integrated at a level you won't be able to articulate in the morning, but that you will carry the same way the disciples carried the memory of that calm for the rest of their lives. They never forgot it. What it felt like to be in a boat that should have sunk and didn't. what it sounded like when the wind stopped, what the water looked like in the sudden silence, what he looked like, standing in the stern, completely unhurried, speaking to the weather as though speaking to an old argument that was already over. They never forgot. And tonight, in whatever way this story has found you, in whatever way the peace has reached you, you won't entirely forget either. Something will remain, some remainder of the great calm, some echo of peace. Be still, some knowledge, held somewhere below the level of daily thought, that there is one in the boat with you who has authority over storms. That knowledge is yours now. Carry it into sleep, and into morning, and into whatever comes next. The storm does not have the final word. He does, and his word is peace. Sleep now, deeply, fully. The great calm is here. I want to walk with you through the body one more time. Slowly, gently, from the top down, the top of your head. Let any tension there, the tension of thought, of focus, of the day's concentration, release upward, as though it were smoke, rising, dissipating. Let the scalp soften, the forehead smooth, the muscles around the eyes, those tiny muscles that hold expression, that hold the effort of seeing and responding all day. Let them go slack. The eyes themselves, resting in their sockets, not pressed shut, simply resting, the lids heavy and still, the jaw, that place where so much is held, the conversations that weren't finished, the words that weren't said, the grinding that happens in sleep when the day's tension hasn't been released. Let the jaw drop very slightly. Let the teeth part. Let the tongue rest against the bottom of the mouth, rather than pressed against anything. Soft. The throat, the neck, the shoulders carrying down from the neck. Such a common place for weight to live. The weight of responsibility. The weight of people you love and worry about. The weight of being someone who shows up. Let the shoulders drop. Just a little further than they already are. Further. And further. The arms. Heavy. Warm. Belonging entirely to the bed. The hands. Open. Not holding anything. Not ready for anything. Simply resting. The chest. The breath moving through it. Slow now. Deeper than it was an hour ago. The ribs rising slightly with each inhale and falling with each exhale. No effort. No management. Just breath. Just the body doing what it has always done. the belly, soft, rising and falling with each breath, no longer bracing, the lower back, released into the mattress, no longer holding itself upright, the hips, heavy, the legs, long and heavy and warm, the feet, the last thing, the feet that have carried you all day, through every errand, every hallway, every moment of standing when you were tired, and kept standing anyway, released, no longer carrying anything, belonging entirely to the night. Your whole body now, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet, heavy, warm, released, held, at rest. This is what lying down in green pastures feels like. This is what great calm feels like in the body. This is what peace be still feels like from the inside. Let it be complete, all the way. No part of you still holding, no part of you still bracing. All of you completely in the boat, on the water, in the calm, under the stars, with the one who keeps watch. The morning is coming, not yet, but coming, the same way the other shore was coming for the disciples. Unseen, real, approaching. Your morning is already being prepared. The light that will come through the window or the curtain. The first sounds of the waking world. The particular quality of the first few moments of consciousness. When the night has been genuinely restful. That soft, unhurried return to the surface. That is one of the small daily graces most people don't pause to appreciate. That is coming. And when it comes, you will meet it differently than you met tonight. Rested, restored, rebuilt in the ways that sleep rebuilds. The mind clearer, the body lighter, the heart, perhaps, a little softer, the way hearts get when they've been held through the night, rather than left to manage alone. He will be there in the morning, the same one who was in the boat, the same one who spoke peace, the same one who is here now, in this room, in this dark, in this breath. He will be there when the light comes. And the day that waits on the other side of sleep is not a day you go into alone. You never do. You never have. But tonight, that's morning. And morning can wait. Tonight is for rest, for the great calm, for the water that holds the boat, for the breath that comes and goes without asking permission, for the heavy warmth of a body that has been given permission to stop, for the presence that is here even in the dark, especially in the dark. Simply here. Peace. Be still. Good night, dear friend. Good night. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep in the knowledge that you are in the boat with the one who speaks to storms. And he is awake. And the water is calm. And the other side is real. And you are going there. One night at a time. This night. This breath. This moment of release. One last thing before the silence takes over completely. Something worth carrying into sleep. And into morning. And beyond. The disciples, the ones who were in that boat, went on to do extraordinary things with their ordinary lives. Peter, who had asked if he could walk on water during another storm on this same lake, and had begun to sink and been caught. Peter preached a sermon that changed 3,000 lives in a single afternoon. John, the quiet one who watched things carefully and held what he saw. John wrote the most beautiful account of Jesus' life that exists. Andrew brought his brother to Jesus in the first place. James was the first of the 12 to die for what he believed. Ordinary men, fishermen, mostly, who were in a boat in a storm on a Tuesday night, and who never forgot what happened, who carried it, what they had seen, what they had heard, what they had felt when the wind stopped, and the water went still, and the man in the stern stood up, who carried it for the rest of their lives, into every difficult situation, into every moment when fear suggested that maybe they had gotten this wrong, into every dark night. They had been in a boat with the one who speaks to storms. And they knew, not as doctrine but as memory, as bodily memory, as something they had experienced with their own hands, and eyes, and ears, that the storm does not have a final word. He does. And they lived from that knowledge. They built their lives on it. They died trusting it. And the trust was not misplaced. Tonight, whatever boat you are in, whatever crossing you are on, whatever storms are behind you or still ahead, you are in the company of everyone who has ever called out from the middle of the water and been heard. A very long company, across a very long time, all of them saying the same thing, in different words, in different languages, from different boats on different waters. He woke. He got up. He spoke. And the storm obeyed. You are in that company tonight. You are not the first to be in a storm. You will not be the last. But you are in the boat with the same one they were in the boat with. And his word has not changed. Peace. Be still. Carry that with you. Into sleep. Into morning. Into everything that comes next. The storm does not have the final word. He does. And his word is peace. Good night. Sleep well. You are held. You are in the boat. And the water is calm. And the other side is real. And it is good. Good night. Stay with me just a little longer. The night is deep and the sleep is close. And there is one more thing worth saying before you cross over completely. It's about the cushion. The cushion in the stern of the boat. The Gospel of Mark specifically mentions it. The only gospel that does. Jesus was sleeping on a cushion. This small, specific detail, a cushion, is the kind of thing that gets included in an account because someone was there and remembered it. Because it was real. Because the scene was vivid enough in memory that even the small things remained. A cushion. Someone had put a cushion in the back of that boat. Maybe they always kept one there for the long crossings. Maybe someone had put it there specifically for Jesus, knowing how tired he would be by the end of the day. Maybe it was Peter's cushion, offered without a word. We don't know, but it was there. And Jesus used it. He did not sleep sitting upright, in the dignified posture of someone maintaining an appearance. He lay down on the cushion, the way a person does when they are genuinely going to sleep, and not merely resting. He made himself comfortable. This too is something worth sitting with. He made himself comfortable. He did not refuse comfort. Did not decide that a teacher of his importance shouldn't need a cushion. Shouldn't show that kind of vulnerability. Shouldn't be seen needing something as ordinary as a soft place to lay his head. He accepted it. He used it. He slept on it. There is grace in accepting the small comforts that are offered. The warm blanket. The soft pillow. The darkness that invites sleep rather than demanding you power through. The quiet that asks nothing of you for a few hours. These are not indulgences. They are the cushions that someone, or something, put in the boat for you. Use them. Make yourself comfortable. Not because you've earned the comfort. Not because you deserve it more tonight than other nights. But because the comfort is offered. Because it's there. Because refusing it is its own kind of pride. The pillow beneath your head tonight is a kind of grace. Accept it. Use it. And sleep on it the way Jesus slept on his. Completely. Trustingly. All the way. The sound of water. Let it reach you now. Even here, even inland, even in a room with no water nearby. The sound of water has been carrying people towards sleep for as long as there have been people. Something in us responds to it below the level of thought. Water, moving softly, not the crashing of the storm waves. That is behind us, far behind us now. This is the water after, the still water. The water that barely makes a sound because it is barely moving. A gentle, intermittent contact with the hull of the boat. A soft exhale and pull back. And again. And again. If you have ever slept near water, near the ocean, near a lake, near a river, you know how different that sleep is. How quickly the body settles. How deeply the rest goes. The water gives permission. It says, the night is long, and the world is wide, and there is nothing required of you right now except to be here. On this boat, on this water, under this sky. Nothing required. Nothing. Not performance. Not productivity. Not being the right version of yourself. Not having figured out the thing you haven't figured out. Nothing. Just the water. And the boat. And the night. And the one who is awake and watching while you rest. Let the sound of the water reach you. Even here. Even now. The sound of it. Soft. Slow. Patient. Endless. The sound of something that has been moving since long before you arrived and will be moving long after. Something that simply is. That doesn't stop when you're not paying attention to it. That doesn't need your awareness to continue its ancient, faithful motion. Like the faithfulness of the one who keeps watch. Like the peace that doesn't require your maintenance. Like the love that continues while you sleep. Let the water sound reach you. And let it carry you. All the way. Into the deep. Into the still. Into the great calm that waits on the other side of the threshold. The threshold you are right at. Right now. Good night. Peace. Be still. The crossing is nearly complete. You can feel it. If you pay attention. The way the boat has settled. The way the rhythm of the water has slowed. The way your own breathing has found a pace that belongs to sleep rather than to waking. The other shore is close. Not the shore of morning. That is still hours away. The shore of sleep. The place of genuine rest where the body does its deep work. And the mind releases its grip on the day. And something is restored that the day took. You are almost there. The oars have been put down. Nobody is rowing anymore. The boat is moving on its own. Or rather, being moved by the water, by the current that the one who commands water has arranged. Toward the shore, toward the rest. You don't have to do anything to get there. You are already going. Just let the boat move. Just let the water carry. Just let the night do what the night was made for. Peace. Be still. And the water carries you. And the night holds you. And the one who is awake watches over the crossing. And the other shore is there. And you are going to it. One breath at a time. This breath. And this one. And this one. Each one taking you closer. Each one a little more of the release. Each one the body's quiet surrender to what it was designed for. Sleep. Real sleep. Deep sleep. The kind that rebuilds. The kind that restores. The kind that the disciples slept after the storm. The heavy, grateful, beyond exhaustion sleep of people who have been through something and come out the other side and can finally, completely let go. That sleep. Yours. Tonight. Right now. The shore is here. You have arrived. Rest now. Good night, dear friend. Good night. The storm is behind you. The great calm is here. Jesus is in the boat. And you are held. You have always been held. Good night. Peace. Be still. Good night.